My name's Alex Ward. I'm Creative Manager at Criterion Games in Guildford, and I'm currently working with the Burnout team on the new game on PlayStation 2, Burnout 2 Point of Impact. There was never a plan to make a sequel to Burnout, but the first game was a huge hit all around the world. We decided to make the sequel when we went to see the film The Fast and the Furious at the cinema. This film captured a lot of what we thought we'd created in Burnout, fast sort of street racing, very fast action and incredible car crashes, and nitrous boost, which was a turbo feature we had in the first game. So when the team saw this film, they decided we had to come back and start work immediately on a sequel. Burnout 2 this time is still the fastest arcade racing game you can play on your PlayStation. We have all new cars in the game. We have 21 cars in total, a lot more than the first game. There are 7 standard cars, 7 secret cars, which I won't reveal at this stage, and 7 what we call custom series cars. Now the custom series cars are the boy racer sort of tuned up, specialized, modified cars that we see all around the world now. This sort of tuning culture where guys who love cars take a standard car, modify it, put in a big stereo, a new tuned engine, body kits, decals and fins, and make the car unique. So the first half of Burnout 2 is a standard championship, and the second half of the game is what we call the custom series championship, and this is when you drive these very fast and very furious type cars. What's also new in Burnout 2 are the courses. The stages are all new. There's 32 stages in the new game. They all take place in one fictional peninsula, similar to the Ridge City idea in Ridge Racer 5. There are 6 locations. They have a unique sort of American theme this time. Burnout 1 took place largely in Europe with a couple of American stages. One of the other new things in the game is weather. We found that by having weather such as snow, or rain and fog in the game, we could link all this together in an American setting, because North America is a country that does have a mountainous region, a desert region, a sort of a city and a beach region, and they're often quite close to each other, so it made sense to give the game an American setting. So the new stages are Palm Bay, which is sort of a Miami-type course. Big Surf, which is a twisty coastal road. We have a course called Sunrise Valley, which is our desert course. We wanted to have a grid-based course in the game again. It was called Downtown in Burnout 1. We liked the gameplay of that course, but we wanted to give it a new location, so we've set that in a desert, sort of New Mexico-type city. We have an interstate, which returns from the first game, although it's all new. It's a lot faster, a fast, wide, busy highway. Excellent new mountain course called Crystal Summit. If you liked the Harbour Town course in the first game, you'll like this new stage. It's very twisty. You wind up into the mountains and it starts to snow. And finally, the last new stage is called Pacific International Airport. Sega traditionally always used to put an airport scenery in their games because their coin-op division was based in Haneda in Japan, and it overlooked the airport. So if you play old Sega games like Scud Race in the arcade, you often saw jets parked up and things in the background. We're very inspired by the great games from Sega, so we thought an airport would be an excellent stage to drive around like a maniac with lots of traffic and people where they don't know where they're going. So 6 locations, 2 courses in each location, that gives us 12, 4 point-to-point courses, and that's 16 courses. We will mirror them in the second half of the game, which will give us 32 stages in total. You'll notice from the first game we always change the traffic on each lap, so it's not always the same experience. There was some triggered set pieces in the first game. If you were leading the race, you would come up to some junctions and we would trigger a lorry or a bus to dart out and try and scare the player. However, if you were doing badly at the game, if you were maybe losing the race, you would get to those junctions and the traffic wouldn't be there. So a few people did complain about that in the first game, but it was only difficult if you were unlucky and hit the car. You didn't have to hit the car. You could always avoid it. The 2-player action hots up with the pursuit sort of type mode, wherein 2 players, 1 player is the police, 1 player is the getaway driver. If you remember, years ago there was an old arcade game called Chase HQ. Certainly a lot of the team, the Burnout team, are fans of that game, so you'll enjoy pursuit mode in 2-player, and there'll be some surprises. We have a new party mode in the game called Crash for Cash, and if you enjoyed smashing up cars, and only smashing up cars from the first game, you'll enjoy this new turn-based mode. We think that crashes are a big part of the game, and when we shipped Burnout 1 last year, a lot of press, a lot of people thought that we had the best crashes they'd ever seen. A couple of games have since come out now which do have more incredible crashes than we had in Burnout. We tried to keep it quite realistic. So in Burnout 2, we want to retain our title of best crashes ever. So this time, yeah, we're confident that the crashes are looking pretty good. We have bits flying off the car, so bumpers, bonnets, windscreens, fenders. We've got some incredible spark effects happening, and these have just gone in the game, so we're very excited about them at the moment. But we're pretty confident that the crashes you'll see in Burnout 2 this year will be the best car crashes you've ever seen in any video game you've yet played. We have an engineering division, which is the largest group of R&D engineers focused solely on PlayStation 2 anywhere outside of Sony Japan. So we're always working on new ways of pushing the machine. There's a lot more detail in what you're seeing on screen in Burnout. There's a lot more detail in the player car and all the traffic on the screen, and the game still runs at a lightning fast 60 frames a second. We're still pushing many more polygons than a lot of other titles we've seen on the machine, and we're still only scratching the surface of PlayStation. We have spent a lot of time reading bulletin boards and fan sites and looking on the internet, reading magazines from all over the world. We know that a lot of people enjoyed the first game we made, and we want to give them a lot more excitement in the new game. If you like the first Burnout, you're going to get a big kick out of the new game.